Hey guys, Zach with Joker's Trains. So in today's video, we got another comparison video. We're going to compare an RMT single dome tank against an Atlas single dome tank. Now, I did mess up a little bit. I knew that I had an Atlas single dome tank, and I saw that RMT made single dome tanks. And I was like, oh, this will be perfect. This is my mistake. I thought my Atlas single dome tanks were 8,000 gallon cars. They're actually 11,000 gallon cars, and the RMT tank is a 8,000 gallon car. To be honest with you, I don't think there's that much difference. I think we'll be able to get the general comparison between RMT and Atlas tank cars. So yeah, without further ado, what? No. Join the Discord. Links in the description below. All my links are in there except obviously TikTok, because TikTok's banned now. So feel free to follow me on all the social medias and join me on Discord. Now, without further ado, let's get into checking these cars out and see if RMT does it again and can run with the big dogs for a fraction of the price. All right, so in this comparison today, we're going to use this Waddell oil tank car from RMT, and we're going to be comparing it against one of my favorite tank cars of all time, the Hooker tank car from Atlas. We'll go ahead and separate the two cars so we can kind of get a look and see what we got going on here. All right, so here we go. As we can see, we got a pretty solid car, right? It looks pretty good. You got everything on here is very legible. All the words very legible. Got the ladder. Now, as you will notice, I'll point out some of the differences here, and I'll show you a cool feature that the RMT car has that the Atlas car does not have. Essentially, my first overall opinion, just looking at this car, is it's pretty solid. I feel like a little bit of detail that they could have added is these right here, like the bindings that hold the straps that hold the tank actually down to the car. I feel like this could have been a bit better detail, and I'll show you what I mean when we look at the Atlas car. The ladder on these I feel like is kind of chintzy, and then obviously the trucks. I don't like RMT trucks. If you watch my last two comparison videos, I think everybody doesn't like RMT trucks. And one of the axles has been on this. The wheel kind of wobbles a little bit, but it doesn't affect how the car rides. And obviously, again, we have the steps here, the stirrups, steps, whatever you want to call them. These are a little bit bulky. Could be cleaned up a little bit in future models. I do feel like the paint on this is not as good as it's obviously not as good as the Atlas car, but I feel like the other RMT cars I have, I feel like the paint was a little bit better on them. Like, the color is fine, it just looks like the paint is kind of, I don't know, like it's too thick or something of that nature. I'm not real sure. Now, you'll see here we got the walkway, and this walkway is pretty big, but it is removable. If you just want a single dome tank without the walkway, there is the RMT tank without the walkway around it. Now, I feel like that's a pretty neat feature that they make this removable. It is a bit of a pain to get off the first time I did it, but once you figure out how to do it, it's not that big a deal. The top of the dome actually lifts up, so that's a cool, nice little detail. All right, here you can see the end of the tank car. Has the capacity on there. All right, here's the Atlas car, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen an Atlas car. I am quite the Atlas freight car fan. I'm not saying everything they make is the best, but they do a pretty good job of producing pretty quality. Now, apparently this is this is a good Hooker car. So, Hooker Chemicals, as you can see, it's Tacoma, Washington, and down here we can see it's an ammonia car. And we have the water capacity in here, how many pounds it is. And obviously, this is what you expect out of an Atlas car. Everything is readable. You have nice detail. I feel like the grab rail around the car is a little bit smaller in diameter. It just looks a little cleaner on the Atlas car. Now, I understand this is 11,000 gallon tank, and the other one was an 8,000 gallon tank, but I feel like we can get the general comparison here pretty good. Now, as we talk about the steps on the other car here we look at the steps. You can see the steps are just a cleaner step than the RMT car, and that's, again, as to be expected when you're paying the kind of money that Atlas charges for these cars. Now, the tie down for the tank to the car itself is a little bit different on this style of car because it's an 11,000 gallon tank. But if you look here, you can see you got the right here, you got the tie down right here, and obviously there's 4 of them on 2 on each side. I feel like that's a little bit cleaner. I feel like RMT could have cleaned up the way that their tie down looks, even though it's a different style of tie down. And we got you can see the details underneath the car here. I feel like there should be something on this since it's ammonia, maybe. And then we got the walkway. Now, this walkway is a much better looking walkway, and I don't know if that's because it's an 11,000 gallon car and the walkways were different on them, or if it's just because it's a higher quality freight car. But anyways, this walkway is not removable, and this ladder is obviously a much cleaner ladder. The steps aren't as bulky. Naturally, the top of the dome will open on this car as well, as you would expect it to do. All right, and then we'll take a look at the end of the. There you go. Same thing on this car. You have the capacity on there. So here we can see on the frame underneath, you can see other legible stuff in there. So let's go ahead and flip them upside down, and we will continue. All right, here we go. We got the underneath side of these cars, and they're relatively similar. Obviously, the Atlas is on the bottom. The Atlas is going to win this detail from the other side. Now, again, I've said these before. The detail underneath these cars doesn't matter to me, and it probably shouldn't matter to you. I feel like it's underneath the car. You're never going to see it. Now, what I did notice is these trucks are a little different on the RMTs than the other ones. They're a little bit different style. I don't know that they're any better or any worse. I haven't really ran this car enough to know. You know, typically if you have two cars coupled, you can just lift the coupler. You can lift one car off the other one. When you try to lift the Atlas car off this RMT car, that was not happening for me. It was kind of stuck. So maybe it's just because it's a brand new car, hasn't been used. They're pretty close. Just, you know, you got different details here. You got, like, you have this, which is assuming it's kind of similar to this probably, but there's no piping that runs down to the truck. So again, it's not the end of the world. All right, so one more thing I wanted to point out. Obviously, this car is a little bit smaller than this car. But the weight on them, the Atlas feels like it's a much heavier car. Feels like a much better product. The RMT is a much lighter car. I would normally think it would be in the trucks, but I feel like the construction of this car is a better construction car. Again, what you would expect when you're fooling with Atlas, you'd expect really nice stuff. So overall, my thoughts on the tank car from RMT. It's a solid car, especially given the price at $34, $35, whatever it is. I can't remember what the sticker said on the box. $34.95, so $35. Of the three RMT cars that I have, obviously I have the Woodside Reefer, the PS1 box, and then the single dome tank. This is probably my least favorite RMT product. Now, I feel like maybe Atlas is getting a slight edge because obviously it's a little bit bigger car. Maybe that's why it feels like a little better product, but I think overall the details alone on this stand out, obviously in Atlas's favor. But the PS1 box car that I compared to my last RMT comparison video, the PS1 box car ran right with Lionel. So I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think just RMT just doesn't quite have these single dome tanks to the level of the PS1 box car or even the Woodside Reefers. My favorite of the three that I own is obviously the PS1 box car. Now, I'm not going to ever say don't go out and buy RMT box or any RMT products. I feel like this is a good product given the price, because when you compare the price of $35 for this tank car to the price of an Atlas car, which is, I don't know what they cost brand new, 80, 90 bucks, whatever it is, I'm assuming, you wouldn't expect a $35 car to be in the same category as an Atlas car. So I feel like overall for the price of these cars, this car does a fair job of competing with Atlas. And yes, I know I probably could have compared them to MTH, which would have been a more fair comparison, but I like to put them up to the big dog, you know. So when you look at these two cars, not on camera, not close up, you know that the RMT car looks perfectly fine set next to the Atlas tank car. So if you're looking to add some quantity to your collection and build up your freight car fleet, check out RMT. They have some great products at a great price. Just don't expect them to always outshine the big dogs. So that being said, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know. And let me know what you think of the tank cars, or if you have tanks, let me know what you think. And if you're going to buy some, let me know. And if you're looking for a place to buy RMT from, I get all my RMT stuff from Tony at Roundhouse South. He's a good friend of mine. He always takes care of me, and he has a pretty good selection. I know when he gets RMT stuff, and he sells it pretty quick. So just give Tony a call, see what he has in stock if you're looking to pick up a few pieces. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. We're trying to get to 3,000 by the end of the year. We're getting dangerously close to 2,500 right now. So please, if you're not subbed to the channel, please help me out and just click the button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Until the next video, I'm going to holler at y'all. Later.